Welcome to this week's edition of Universal Parenting Clinic. On this show today, I'll be discussing why you should maintain equality and fairness in life, and especially in parenting. Parents must ensure children are treated equally and fairly. Many children develop series of social and challenging conditions in life due to inferior treatments to which they are subjected to at different stages in life. Many suffer inferiority complex in life, while many may also suffer series of personality disorder and fear. Some others may become subject of resentment, while some children may become uncontrollably aggressive and defensive due to the feeling of inequality and the apprehension of unfairness. As a parent with more than one child, you should endeavor to treat each of your children with equal measure of love, affection, and support. You definitely need to be fair to all. There is no denying the possibility of temptation in this regard, in the sense that some children may by nature and their behavior be loved by a parent over the other, and there may be the tendency to have resentment towards a child as a result of the child's negative behavior and attitude. It is equally possible that as human beings, there is the tendency to develop more natural affection for someone more than the other in life. For instance, an obedient child may receive more accolades and affection over the disobedient child gradually if care is not taken. A child who comes first in his or her exams may indirectly attract the celebration and favor of the parents over a child who constantly fails to deliver. A child who demonstrates more maturity in dealing with issues may indirectly be more trusted with responsibilities and information more than the other. It should, however, be strongly noted that in the above situations and many others, as a parent, it is expected that you have same natural affection for your children, fairly and equally, regardless of behaviors, ability, and attitude. You should refrain from any form of hatred or resentment towards any of your children. At moments of unavoidable appreciation, love and admiration for a child, which may be due to circumstances beyond your control, be sure not to despise the other child and not to overdo it in a way that the other child or children will feel that sense of resentment, being undervalued or underappreciated. Always strike a fair balance in your dealings with your children. Where you have just one child, you should still endeavor to apply fairness in the ways you treat that child. Fairness in the things you do, in the things you say, in the disciplinary measures, in your reactions and appreciations, in the tasks to be performed and decisions on issues. Avoid unnecessary resentment and emotional reactions. Avoid preferential treatment of one child over the other, because you are likely to despise one and love the other, or will inadvertently chastise one to please the other. By so doing, you would have created enmity between you and the maltreated child, or you would have sowed a seed of discord and hatred among the children, which may last forever with grievous consequences. Remember the story of Joseph the dreamer and his siblings in the Bible. Remember the parental special treatment of Joseph, the special cloth of multiple colors, bought only for him, and the feeling of jealousy, hatred, and rivalry that prompted the siblings to plot evil against him, but which God turned around for the fulfillment of his destiny. Know that it is not every story that will be fortunate to have such a happy ending. It takes special grace. Fairness to all children may sometimes lead to inequality in the way you treat your children too, but that should be well managed reasonably and be explained properly with good conscience. For instance, you are expected to give each child necessary support to succeed in life. In doing this, Certain natural circumstances may warrant reasonable differences in the treatment of your children, which are permissible but must be properly managed with openness and transparency. A child may be very brilliant, for instance, such that it doesn't require extra lessons or special teacher to support him, whereas the other child may be struggling with his or academics, such that it becomes reasonable for you to support the child with extra attention by way of additional coaching in school or paying for special extra lessons by other tutors. The other child in the example above will understand the purpose, and you are still expected to give adequate explanation to avoid negative implications or insinuations. It will, however, be a wrong approach if you are to treat the child with a low IQ to undergo no supportive effort from you merely because you want to treat other children equally. The result will create unfair balance with negative implications too. You cannot also treat a child with disabilities the same way as your other child in special circumstances. That will amount to unfairness, even though you have done similar things for the kids. This is because a child that requires special support must be given special support, even though such support may also not be a necessary support needed by the other child. It is impossible for you to give the medicine prescribed for the treatment of certain illness in a child to the other child who is not sick, merely because you want to promote fairness and equality. What is fair to one child may mean unfairness to the other. So it is your responsibility to strike a reasonable balance always. Treat each child individually, but fairly with respect to the collective treatment of all. Please treat the children of others with the highest degree of fairness and equality. There are several people who specializes in the maltreatment of the children of others with so much disdain and with wickedness. Treat the child of others with dignity, respect, equality, and fairness, as you would want your own child to be treated by others too. A child to one is a child to all. The child of the rich is as important as the child of the poor. A child from Asia is as important as a child from Africa, or that from America, Great Britain, Europe, or even from the remotest village of anywhere in the world. No child of any age, regardless of place of birth or color or background for that matter, should suffer any form of inequality or unfairness. And this is why racial profiling, racial discrimination has no place in the mind of highly responsible and reasonable individuals worldwide, except only in the mind of those with no class, suffering from inferiority complex or mental imbalance. You should also not treat an adopted child any worse than you will treat your biological child. Don't make a child less favored, and don't subject a child to ill treatment because he or she is your stepdaughter or stepson. An orphan under your care or a child to whom you are the foster parent should not be treated in any unfair manner. Whether there is resentment for your spouse or unresolved issues between you and your spouse, no child should suffer wickedness from you just by virtue of the circumstances of his birth, because regardless of the circumstances, the child is at no fault and should never be a subject of transferred aggression, ill feelings, or malice. Be sure no child has the feelings of resentment. Be certain no child is discriminated against due to any behavior, disadvantage, inability, or disability. And be sure to avoid unfairness and imbalances in your relationships with your children. Don't favor one child over the other. Don't use one child to serve the other. And don't abandon one child and embrace the other. Every child deserves the right to live. Every child deserves the right to be loved. Every child deserves the right to equal treatment. And every child deserves the right to fairness. Treat every child with the highest degree of respect, love, affection, equality, and fairness. Thanks to our numerous friends on Facebook who are watching this show passionately always. Thanks also to those who have subscribed to our YouTube channel freely and those who have bought their copy of the book Parenting Without Tears. I do hope sincerely that you too will join this group of people today. Subscribe now and follow us too on our social media platforms. That's the show this week on Universal Parenting Clinic. I believe strongly that through this Universal Parenting Clinic and with proper understanding of the book Parenting Without Tears, together, we all can promote wellness in families and in the world. We can stop the tears from children, parents, and families. We can kick racism, fraud, incivility, corruption, wickedness, several addictions, violence, and the series of antisocial behaviors out of all families and the whole world. And at the same time, we can promote all the positive desires and aspirations towards the well-being of the children, parents, and the world at large. Till I come your way again by God's grace, I am the parenting advocate in the house, Michael Benga Bibilari, MGB, Mr. Parenting. Maintain equality and fairness in life, especially in parenting. Think parenting. Be positive in parenting. Talk parenting. Be passionate about parenting. Don't just be a parent. Stop positioning. Be a responsible parent, a real parent, a parent indeed. Parent well.